we need to act together, for example, to address the climate situation or a variety of things. Doing that requires some sense of collective identity and collective shared value. And that often there's some sense of a bigger we that we are part of and also that we share kind of agreement. And often that's come through things like religion, even things like the nation state religion. And my sense, one of the things we learned at Life Itself, and I'm sure many others, was there's a lot of background trauma, almost collective trauma about those things, which is why there's so much reaction to them. But when we lose them, we end up without that bonding that we would have. How can we act together? So this kind of one of the key things is how do we recreate these? We used to have rituals. We went to churches together, or you go to an NFL football game, but we see these things, but they're now kind of marginalized in our society. And as you say, how do we create the kind of sacred spaces and the values that might arise collectively among us in that is something that we've lost a great deal. Am I doing a fair justice to some of what you were saying?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the signs is culture war, right? The tearing apart of the shared civic field that we exist in. And the reason is not because there's different people with different views. The reason is there's no unifying thing that they share in addition to their different values and views. And
Yes.
that's a result of actual practices and shared experiences, not the result of, first of all, agreeing to all the same values and then agreeing to the same narrative about reality, right? Like we need to do something to be much better custodians of the ecosystem on this planet in a way that advantages us and the biodiversity we depend on. That's not going to be the result of everybody agreeing about the nature and cause of climate change first, and then getting on board with projects. We need projects we can get on board with, despite our variations in narrative, values, and worldview, because it's the practices and the projects that bring us together, the instantiations, and not the story that we're telling each other. If we get a shared story, that tends to emerge historically out of people who are sharing practices and challenges together.